Welcome to Speaking Up with Jessica Dumas. I'm a certified life coach that specializes in business, leadership, and all things speaking and confidence mindset. Let's chat. Hey, NCI fam, how's it going? Good afternoon. Time for your self-check with your Indigenous life coach. Seriously, how are you doing? I've been a certified life coach since 2013, and at the time when I started, no one knew what a life coach was. It was brand new to me. I think I found something on YouTube by Tony Robbins, and by the way, I'm not a huge fan of him. I just don't really like his style. However, I've been a certified coach for over 10 years. And you know what? I know that I'm a really good coach, and I want that for everyone. I want you to know that whatever it is that you're doing, I want you to be able to say, I'm a really good this. I'm a really good mom. I'm a really good teacher. I'm a really good entrepreneur. I'm a really good, you know? I know my practices are really good because I've gotten myself out of some pretty dark places. And that was my first venture in coaching, was finding joy. So I want to talk to you a little bit about that today because it's no longer my focus. I mean, you know that my focus is in entrepreneurship and confident speaking, facilitation, that sort of stuff. But I'm really good at helping people who want to feel better. So that's the first key, is you need to want to feel better. Because I recognize that life can throw some pretty wild things at you. I've lost a brother publicly and tragically. I've had terrible relationship experiences. I've been divorced, a single mom, like all of the things. Like life can be hard. But through all of my own experiences, I had always had this like crazy thing that there's something bigger for me. There's something big, because I had this crazy desire. Like there were days where I would literally sit there and ask myself, like, where is this coming from? Why do I want to find joy in all of the things? And so throughout my life journey, I had this thing coming up for me that was telling me, I just want to be happy. Like there's so many things in life that are just hard and they suck and I don't want to do it. But where can I find the joy? And again, I was like, where is this coming from? But this led to all kinds of things in exploring happiness. And it caused me to look around in all of the chaos that I was so used to. And I was like, how do I find happiness in this? How do I find joy in this? And because there was that something inside me that believed it was possible, I would continue to ask the question. And sometimes the question would sound like, what could I do right now in this moment that would make me happy? And maybe sometimes it's something as simple as, I'm going to have another cup of coffee. Although, let me highlight that idea. I love coffee. Coffee does honestly make me happy. But you know what? It's only the first cup of the day. And it's so funny. My love relationship with coffee is I need to have that perfect cup at the beginning of the day. And you know, sometimes if you're away from home, you don't get your regular coffee. And you ever have like that where you're chasing the coffee for the day? So you go out somewhere, you get a coffee and you're like, no, that's not the one. So then you have a second one and you're like, that's not the one. And then the day goes on and it's like, I guess I'm not having my good coffee today. And today my coffee is bulletproof coffee. And it's actually this like keto diet coffee. That's where you can find the recipe. That's not why I found it. I found it because I wanted to get turmeric in my diet. And so I was looking up turmeric recipes, and it was, I don't know why I was looking up turmeric. And so now, and this is exactly what I had this morning, and it was so delicious. It was coffee, so I grind my own beans. Not what I wanted to talk about, but this is what we're getting into. Grinded my own beans. And I use a pour over for my coffee. And then in a blender cup, I actually mix the turmeric, cinnamon, coconut oil, and grass-fed butter. So it's like pretty bougie, which is me. And I blend it. You blend it for like 15 seconds so that you don't have like a pile of oil on top. And it's really delicious. It's very creamy, so you don't need to add any cream. Oh, and then I use some stevia for sweetener. Anyway, why am I talking about coffee? Talking about joy. Coffee does bring me joy. If that's you, put your hand up. So that was the question that I would ask myself. What could I do right now that would make me happy? And, as you can, if you share that with me, coffee could be one of those things. But then it turns into a series of asking questions that mean the same thing, but in a variety of ways. So what's the best thing that I could feel right now? So I know that in everyday situations, our emotions are going to go up and down. And I want to talk in a second about something called the emotional guidance scale, which you can Google. But what's the best thing I could feel right now? And by the way, you can do this when you're feeling good or when you're not feeling good, because when you're feeling good, then it can just get better. Another question I would ask is, what can I smile about right now? Things might suck, but what can I smile about? Or what is a better thought? There's a lot of things going on right now. What's the best thing I could think about? So if any of this is resonating with you, you might be up for a little journey, which I'm going to call the joy journey. And that's really how I started. Like, this was part of my life coaching journey. It was, what do I want to do with my life? Or what do I want to do when I grow up? And recognizing that joy was something that I wanted. I wanted joy in my life. I wanted happiness in my life. And actually, that was probably one of the bigger questions that I asked myself when I started this journey. And there's this online program site called Coursera. So it's like course, Coursera, so Coursera. And you can actually download it as an app. And it's college and university programs from all over the world. I can't remember how many there are on there. But you can log on, and many of the courses you can take for free. So they actually have a course on happiness, which I didn't complete it. I just wanted to check it out. It was pretty cute. I love the idea that you can take the free courses, and I loved the idea that they have one called happiness. And so one of the stories, though, in the course is one of the instructors says that joy is like a balloon because you can see when others have it. And I thought, that's so cute. That is so cute. And I want to be that person walking around with all the balloons. But I wanted to share another concept with you. And I usually use the concept of a cork, but I'm going to try and play with the idea of it being a balloon. Okay, so let's say you're someone who you want more balloons, right? You want more joy. And when you walk around, like, people can see how much joy you have. But if you think about the context of, like, things are not great, and I feel like maybe I have a balloon, but I feel like I'm pulling it underwater. So maybe in this scenario, we're taking our balloons to the beach and we go into the water, and maybe our balloons are tied to our wrist. And if you can imagine trying to pull your balloon down under the water, and it's bust resistance, it's not going to bust, but we're going to pull it under the water. And if you can imagine the effort that it's going to take to pull under the water 1 or 2 balloons, like, that's a lot of energy. And when you think about joy relating to ease and relating to, like, what it is that you want, like, sometimes we need to release that effort that we're pulling things under the water. So is this making any sense? The effort of you pulling the balloons under the water is the effort that we put into holding on to grudges, holding on to hot potatoes or things that don't make us feel good. The point I'm trying to make is that it's a lot more work to not be happy. And when you can practice that, when you can start to, like, really feel that and release those balloons, that means letting go of something I'm upset about, letting go of something that happened yesterday instead of waking up and picking it up again, of just letting go of the things that don't make you happy. Because you know what? You're going to live this day. You're going to live this day. You're going to live this week. You're going to live this month, this year. And you can do it any way that you want. So you get to choose, do I want to let my balloons float? Do I want to let them just rise up? And in order to do that, you need to let something go. You need to let go of the effort that you are using to hold those balloons under the water. Does that make any sense? I hope it makes, if it makes sense, then you are my peeps. Because you know what? This practice will help you bounce back quicker from things that are not working out. To just recognize, you know what? That didn't work out, but I don't have to hold on to it. I can just let it go. That also means choosing your battles, right? There are many things in our world and in our lives and in our communities that are not going great. And some of them are for us. Some of them are our own personal challenges. Some of them include our skills, our calling, and those are things that we'll be involved with. But sometimes we just have to choose our battles and let things be and find our joy and just say, you know what, what's something I could do right now to make me happy? What's the best thing that I could feel right now? What's a better thought? So that's the joy journey. And so I wanted to share with you something called the emotional guidance scale. And I learned this from a spiritual teacher that I listened to online named Abraham Hicks. And I think something that we forget as people, or maybe we didn't know, because maybe when I learned this, I didn't know it either. But apparently throughout the day, it's normal for all of our emotions to go up and down a scale. So if you were to Google the emotional guidance scale, you'll see that there's 22 different feelings that have been identified on this scale. And number 1 at the top is joy and excitement and that sort of thing. And then it goes down to the middle is like contentment or boredom. And then down to the bottom is the feeling of failure, discouragement, depression, like that sort of thing. So what was really interesting for me to learn about the emotional guidance scale was that all of our feelings are valid. And I think that when we're going through anything in life, whether we're leveling up and we're feeling some fear, or whether we are just under the weather and things are just not looking good, it's okay to recognize that all of these feelings are valid, which means there's nothing wrong with you. And I think that's such an important message, because we go into this life as adults trying to, just live, survive, or make things happen, and we feel like there's something wrong with us. But I just want to share with you that if it's an emotional thing that we're on, that those are all valid and they don't have to mean anything, because in all of those spaces, you can still ask yourself, what's the best thing I could feel right now? What's the best thought I could have right now? What can I smile about? What can I be happy about? And you know what? It's that same question that got me to where I am today, is just focusing on joy. If joy is the goal, that's the joy journey. What can you do for yourself today? Maybe it's that really delicious coffee. Enjoy your joy journey and let me know how it goes. You know how to find me, jessicadumas.ca on Instagram and Facebook, and talk to you next week. Thank you so much for your time. Miigwech ekose merci. Get in touch with me on Instagram or my website at jessicadumas.ca.